She called 911 the exact second my hammer hit that warning sign. Didn't even give me time to admire my work or wipe the dust off my hands. I'd barely stepped back when I saw her, barreling across the property line like her hair was on fire, phone clutched in the air like she'd just won the Super Bowl. "You can't put that here," she screamed, and honest to God, her voice bounced off every house on the block. "You're trespassing on my area." Even the construction crew next door stopped what they were doing just to watch the show. I didn't move, didn't flinch, just kept my hands up where everyone could see, 'cause I knew exactly where my boots were standing, right on the land I scraped and saved every penny to buy. She pointed at my sign like I'd set off a bomb. "Private land? No entry? This is illegal," she hissed at me. "This whole section belongs to the HOA. You can't just claim it." But I didn't answer yet. No, I wanted her to sweat a little, to watch her face twist up when she caught sight of the GPS marker glowing on my phone. She lunged, trying to grab it, but I pulled it back, slow and careful. That just set her off worse. She gulped in a lungful of air and howled at the top of her lungs. "Officer, come fast." He broke into the restricted area again. The kicker? I'd lived there less than 48 hours. I could feel people peeking out from behind their blinds, her yelling about arresting me, accusing me of trying to steal community property. I almost burst out laughing, but then she got up in my face, close enough to count her freckles, and hissed, "Take that sign down, or I'll have the HOA fine you into the ground. This land is ours, never yours." So I leaned in, just enough for her to hear it over her own pulse. "You're making a big mistake." She blinked, confused, like she was starting to wonder if I was really the pushover she hoped for. Before she could double down, a police car rolled up and 2 officers stepped out. She shot toward them, fingers stabbing the air. "That's him. He broke in. He's dangerous." You ever see someone so desperate to be right that it actually hurts to watch? One officer glanced at me, at the sign, then down at the ground, and asked the one question that made her mouth snap shut. "Ma'am, why is this property line marker right here?" You could feel the air get sucked out of her. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. First time all day, she was speechless. Then she tried to recover. No, those markers are wrong," she stammered. "He moved them. He's trying to steal HOA land." She was pointing at the ground like the dirt was going to back her up. The officer squatted down, ran his hand along the concrete basin, wiped off the dust. "Ma'am, this looks professionally placed. Number tag, county survey." He looked over at me. "You got the deed?" Before I could answer, Karen, yeah, let's just call her Karen at this point, jumped in front of me and barked, "He does not. He just moved in. He's been sneaking around at night. I've reported him." She lied so easily you'd think she practiced it in the mirror. I reached into my truck, slow and obvious, showed my empty hands, then pulled out a thick folder. Karen's eyes went wide the second she saw the state seal on the front, like she'd just seen a ghost. She lunged again, but the officer slid between us, arm out. Her reaction, well, it said more than anything I could have said out loud. So I just repeated, low and calm, "You're making a big mistake." She shook her head, panic crawling across her face. "He forged those. I know HOA documents better than anyone. He's not allowed here." The second officer raised a brow. "Ma'am, how do you know they're fake if you haven't seen them?" For the first time, Karen took a step back. I opened up the folder, real slow. Inside, original land papers, certified survey maps, fresh boundary confirmation from the county clerk. I didn't hand it over yet, just pointed at the ground and said, "This restricted area you're so worried about? Never HOA land. Belonged to the old sheriff. He sold it to me before he retired." I watched her whole body freeze, hands curled up tight, eyes darting. In that second, she realized I wasn't the clueless out-of-towner she'd pegged me for, and she'd just gone to war with the wrong guy. She tried to keep going, lips trembling. "He's lying. The HOA would never let someone like him buy this section. This land was under my supervision. I approved the last boundary update myself." The officer cut her off, voice sharp. "Ma'am, are you a licensed surveyor? A county official?" She swallowed hard. "I'm the HOA compliance chair." The officer's reply was as flat as a pancake. "That's not a legal authority. You can't approve land boundaries. That was the first real crack in her mask. Fear starting to spill out, but she still threw one last Hail Mary. Fine, then let the HOA president come down here. He'll confirm everything. I couldn't help myself. I tilted my head, half a smile. You mean the guy who sold me the land? She blinked. Twice. You could see her gears grinding. I spelled it out for her, one word at a time, like I was reading her a bedtime story. He sold this plot to the sheriff 10 years ago. Sheriff retired last month. Left it all to me, files and everything. Her face went white as a sheet. She knew what that meant. I had proof, real proof. The kind you can't yell over. The officer finally took the folder, stepping away to flip through the documents. Karen stood behind him, whispering, "This can't be happening." Over and over, like if she said it enough times, reality would bend. Meanwhile, the other cops circled around, body cam blinking, checking each marker, the lines, my sign, the whole deal. Karen watched every step like she was watching her house of cards collapse. After what felt like an eternity, the officer with my papers looked up and said, "Ma'am, these documents are legitimate. According to county records, this whole strip of land belongs to him. Not the HOA, not the community, definitely not you." Karen staggered back, like someone punched her in the gut. No, she muttered, fingers digging in her hair, like maybe she could yank the truth out if she just pulled hard enough. The officer turned to me, voice even, "Sir, you're fully within your rights to place this sign." Then he turned to her, and man, his voice went steel cold. "But you just filed a false emergency report." Her knees almost buckled. "Wait, no, I didn't. I thought," she was grasping for words, nothing to hold on to. The officer stepped closer. "Ma'am, impersonating property authority and calling 911 with false claims is a serious offense." And then, her biggest mistake, she turned and bolted right back onto my land like the cops weren't even standing there. The officers looked at each other, then at me. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. She didn't get far. They caught up in a few steps and brought her back, still shouting about HOA property. But her voice was thin, powerless now. The truth already did its work. While they questioned her, I walked up to my sign, took the hammer, and drove it even deeper into the ground. Karen watched, eyes wide, as if she was watching the world tilt out from under her. "You can't do this," she whispered, barely holding it together. "If this land is yours, everything I built falls apart." And that right there, that was the truth. She hadn't been protecting the HOA. She'd been protecting herself, her power, her kingdom made out of paper and fear. The officers took out the cuffs. She screamed, "I'm the authority here, not him." The officer didn't even blink. "Ma'am, the only authority here is the law, and you broke it." They arrested her, false report, trespassing, threatening me with HOA power she never had. Neighbors came out onto their porches, some shocked, some relieved, like they'd been waiting for this moment a long time, just watching someone finally stand up to the queen bee. Right before they put her in the squad car, Karen glared at me, pure venom in her eyes. "This isn't over," she spat. I smiled back easy. "It already is." The officer handed me a slip confirming her emergency call was false and that I had every right to my land. He even suggested a restraining order if she tried any more tricks. I looked around, my property, my sign, markers standing straight and proud. For the first time since I'd moved in, I felt a deep, easy calm settle in my chest. This land was mine, really mine. The fight was over. Karen's so-called area had never even existed, except in her head. Justice, finally, had the last word. So here's my question. Where do you draw the line between standing up for your rights and letting the bullies run wild? What would you have done? Would you have stood your ground, or just let it slide for the sake of peace? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me where you're watching from, and share your own stories, because trust me, these HOA wars are just getting started, and I want to hear every single one.